You know what it's time for?
Hit it.
Power ratings.
Plug it in. Power it up.
Also power rankings. Not just power ratings. I botched that. 107.7 the bone. All right. So again, this is a tough week to do this, right? Because a lot of people are going to be like, what do you mean they lost? What do you mean they lost? Niners are still number one.
Yeah.
Still number one to me. They had a lot of injuries, inclement weather. You may act like it's an excuse, but I don't think it's anything to knock them down from the number one perch. And by the way, let me just say this. The injury reports all came back really good for the Niners. Everybody, if they're not going to play this week, it's clear that there aren't long-term injuries to anybody. Debo, Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams. Trent Williams, obviously, who came back and played against Cleveland. But even with Debo and Christian McCaffrey, they could play this week. So, and even if they don't, it'll be soon. Niners are number one. I don't hold that loss. They could still, with all of that, with the injuries, with the weather, and with the horrible calls by the refs. I mean, horrible. They still could have won that game if Jake Moody sinks that field goal. So they're number one. Eagles are number two. A lot of people are going to be like, come on, they lost to the Jets. Hey, you know what? They're allowed to make one horrible mistake at the end of a football game, which it was, and Jalen Hurts wasn't good. But I'm going to keep them at number two. I'm not going to overreact. Chiefs remain number three. Dolphins are 4. Ravens are 5 for me. The Bills are the one in that 3 to 6 musical chairs thing that go down to 6 because I allowed them in my power rankings to stay there after the London game at 3 or 4, wherever I had them. But then after after beating the Giants, we have to keep reminding ourselves they actually won that game against the Giants.
They dropped 2 spots.
But even with the victory, I take them down from 4 to 6. Cowboys are 7. They're exactly who we thought they were. The Seahawks should have beaten the Bengals. They had 3 chances to do it. I'm not going to overreact to them.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Give the Browns credit because they did find a way to beat the Niners, and it wasn't with Deshaun Watson. It was with P.J. Walker, so I put them up to 9. And I'm sorry. This is where people are going to hate me. I still have the Chargers 10 over the Lions. I'm sorry. I just do.
Yeah, I did. So your same 10 just reshuffled a little bit. I did.
Oh,
I
same 10.
Yeah, I do have a – no, I have a new entry into my top 10.
Okay.
I did – look, I think I looked at the top similar to you. It was – look, a lot of the top teams struggled this week, either lost or struggled to win, right? So I left mine pretty much the same – yeah, exactly the same 1 through 5. Niners, Chiefs, Eagles. I hear you on the Bills. I didn't know if I should reshuffle or not there. I kind of I did use the cop-out. They beat the Dolphins situation, so I went Bills, then Dolphins.
That Dolphins win is keeping them – afloat here. You can't keep having bad games.
I hear you, man.
Yeah.
I hear you. And then there's the Lions shooting up to 6 on my board.
Yeah. You're more consensus than me on them.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. And 2 spots up for them. 2 spots up. And look, I'm not going to go crazy over a win over the Buccaneers, but still, a win's a win. And they keep putting them together. Ravens then at 7. I think it was kind of like the Bills-Ravens thing that really threw me off here in how far to drop the Cowboys, where the Cowboys get slotted. I punished them a little this week, Gill. I did. Sure, it's fine. I'm dropping them to 8. This team is just I just don't know if I believe
who we thought they
are exactly who we thought they are. I punished somehow both them and the Chargers after they played each other.
Yeah.
Because the Chargers fell out. I got Cowboys 8, Browns 9, Seahawks move up to 10, which I think they're going to keep moving up for me. And the Chargers go out.
So our only difference is you have the Lions in, you have them at 6, and I have the Chargers in, I have them at 10. I have the Lions at 11, by the way. If the Lions do perform well against the Ravens, that will obviously be the end of me not having them in the top 10.
Yeah, hard to avoid.
But it's just, I just need to see. I know they beat the Chiefs week 1 on the Thursday game, but it's been a long time since then. So they got to beat somebody, and this would be that somebody. And even if they don't win, if they perform well, someone was saying to me yesterday, what about those trends though, where like if you come back from London and play, you're going to play poorly anyway. Shouldn't you slow down on immediately saying the Lions will be in your top 10? I'm not going to let that affect. The Lions would be in my top 10 regardless of that.
It's an interesting trend. I think there's something to, but it's such a small sample size right now, too. Be careful.
11 total games in that sample size of teams that elect to play the week after London. That's what applied to the Ravens this week. This is from Bottom Line Bets. Hates my power rank. He said, Gill might have the worst NFL power rankings imaginable. In what world are the Chargers ahead of the Lions? I need some of what you're smoking. I love that you don't have a problem with 9 of my 10, but that's the one that's the controversial one. Okay, let me just do it.
You're stirring the pot with that.
Let me just do it this way. Let's do this fairly.
Yeah.
If the Chargers are home, neutral site, Chargers Lions, what's the line?
Neutral site, it's a pick'em.
I'll even give you this. If the Chargers are hosting the Lions,
yeah,
I'll even give you that it's Chargers 2.5, let's say, just to have the conversation. And if the Lions are hosting the Chargers, just for the conversation's sake, I'll give you 3.5. How about that? Even though I think it's 3
Oh,
either
I'm
way.
hammering Lions.
Okay, you're hammering Lions?
Plus 3.5?
No, minus. If they're home, they're minus. Just for the
Detroit's home.
For the purposes of this conversation. Oh, my God.
I thought you said the Chargers were at home.
All right, trying to follow along here. So I think that it would be 3 either way. I think it would pick them. I think
Me
you're right.
too, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But for the purposes of the conversation, I'll even allow, because he's so upset with my rankings, that the Chargers, let's say they'd only be minus 2.5 at home, and that the Lions would be minus 3.5 hosting the Chargers. Even if you allow for that, you're calling me like I'm smoking something. It's not that big of a difference, right? I'm saying like the controversy in there is very slight to me.
Yeah. But this is why we do this.
This
is why I love doing these, because not only are they a good practice for bettors and to figure out in your own mind where you rank things, but it also causes controversy, which is always good for a show.
We like controversy. I guess what I'm saying is, at worst, it ain't that big of a disagreement with the market. Is all I'm saying. Don't be fooled by the results. Consider who these teams are playing as well.